Good morning, and it's a great day here at Elville and Associates, and welcome to our webinar, a new topic for our series, Unlocking Value, Impact of Home Condition on Sale Price. And our presenters are Ms. Karen Lawlor and Ms. Donna Weaver, both realtors and seniors real estate specialists with the Wendy Slaughter Team and VYBE Realty. And as always, I'm Jeff Stauffer, Community Relations Director with Elville and Associates, and I'll be your moderator for today. So how this will work today, I think many of you have been on our presentations before. If you're not, and this is your first time, welcome, we're glad you're here, as well as to our returning attendees. We encourage your general questions at any time. So please note those in the chat or the questions section on your panel, and we'll pause periodically to address them. Your questions always add a lot of value to our presentations. For our professionals on today's webinar, I know we have some of those as well. Welcome to you. For CFPs, CPAs, and most others, you may receive one continuing education hour for attending today. And if I don't have your accreditation or board ID number for our CFPs, please send that to me as soon as possible so I can submit your hours and send out certificates for attendance. And everyone will also receive a post-webinar feedback email right after the presentation. Please take just a couple minutes to fill out a brief survey and offer us your feedback about today's presentation, and we read and value every comment that you have to share with us. And here at Elville and Associates, through planning and elder law techniques, our attorneys work every day with the ideals of client education, collaboration, and compassion in mind. And we're always available for consultations to discuss your family's needs, and always look forward to being a resource to you. I have the privilege and pleasure of introducing our presenters today, who are back for third or fourth time, I think, Donna and Karen. And it's always great to have them here. So I'd like to offer them a proper introduction. Our first is Ms. Donna Weaver, a realtor and seniors real estate specialist with the Wendy Slaughter Team at VYBE Realty. Serving both her clients and her community, Donna always goes above and beyond in everything she does. I know that firsthand. Whether she is carefully guiding her clients through each step of the buying or selling process, or volunteering to help make a positive impact in the community, you can always count on her to put you and your best interests first. As she says, quote, "I truly love being a realtor, but it's not just what I do, it's who I am." Also presenting is Ms. Karen Lawlor, who is also a realtor and seniors real estate specialist. I also know firsthand how helpful and kind she is as well. She's been chosen to design spec and model homes for new construction sales, and has worked with top regional and national home builders, as well as premier realtors throughout Maryland, to stage thousands of homes for sale. Karen keeps current on education and interior design to evolve with the changing trends and top design selling features. So Donna and Karen, welcome back. Thank you so much, and look forward to hearing your presentation.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
All right, well, we are happy to be here today. Thank you everyone for joining us. We are going to be talking about unlocking value when you go to sell your home, and how your home condition can really play a part in your bank account. So this is a fun topic for us to go through. Let me just go through here.
Hi, everyone. I'm Donna Weaver, and Jeff, thank you for that amazing introduction. You know, I've been in the business for, I think I'm going on now my 14th year, and I just truly enjoy this work that we do, and I'm looking forward to talking about how to impact your value so that you get the most out of your asset.
Yeah, and I'm Karen Lawlor. I've been in the business for 20 years now, working as a realtor and a home stager. We're going to talk about some current design trends and some different ways that you can upgrade your house and bring more value to your home when you go to sell it.
So here's our team, a picture of our team. We're small but mighty. We just won Best of Howard County last year, and we're nominated again this year for the award as well.
Just a little bit about our stats. Our team is number 8 in Howard County, and number 14 in the state of Maryland, and we're in the top 1% in the state of Maryland as well.
Right. And just to point out at the very bottom, because that excites me the most, 91% represents the number of clients that we get from referrals. So, I know I work completely on referral, and I think you do as well, Karen, but that tells a story about our team and about each one of us that if we do a good job for our clients, they refer us. So that's the majority of where our business comes from.
Yeah, and we greatly appreciate that. Here's a little chart on what we call our secret sauce. So as you can see, consistently, the Wendy Slaughter team has beat the Howard County average days on market for 15 years in a row. And I think it's pretty stunning when you go down and look at the average days on market back in 2009 being 103 days. Do you guys remember that market? That was, well, that was right after the real estate crash in 2008. So that was kind of crazy. But now the average days on the market is about, less than 3 weeks, and our average days on market is 5. And there's clearly a reason for that. So as we go through this presentation, we hope to kind of explain to you how we achieve these numbers.
Yeah, so, I mean, again, that we're just talking about average days on market for our team versus Central Maryland. And I think this is also very dear to me and to my heart because I'm very involved with a nonprofit through the Howard County Association of Realtors. We give back. We as a team do a food drive to contribute to this program that we have where we feed just many, many people throughout the holiday season that are food insecure. And we've won 3 years in a row, I think, for the most meals that we've collected through promoting it through our clients and having this food drive every year. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, if you guys are interested in helping us, we've got a list of products that you can go purchase, and you can drop them off in our office, and we'll put the baskets together to donate. So just reach out to us if you would like to participate. Okay, enough about us. Let's talk about you now. We're going to talk about you and potentially getting your house ready for sale and what makes sense for you to do and what doesn't. It's really different for everybody. So it's probably best, we welcome your questions, of course, but for Donna and I to really look at your home as a whole and really go through and make that list of, what's worth investing in and what you can get away with not putting money in. And here is why we are here today.
Yeah, so, I always say, I guess I'm maybe jumping the gun here a little bit, but I always think about when I visit someone looking to sell, it's really the recommendations are if you're going to make any updates or make any improvements, it's always, a penny in, 2 pennies out. So it's never to over improve. The goal is always to get the very most you can out of whatever improvement you make. But condition does matter, even in a market when the inventory is low like it is right now. So this process that we're showing you here, we're just basically want to review why the condition of your home will drive the experience that you're going to have, and how that's going to encourage more people to come through your listing, to look at your property, that hopefully will motivate them to write an offer where maybe you'll have multiple offers, and that will increase your power as a seller. The goal is to get you the very most we can for your home.
Yep. So it all starts with the condition of your home and ends with your bank account. Okay, so as always, we're going to talk about the market conditions, the current market conditions, and then we'll explore the impact of first impressions, when people first drive up to your home, and then the strategic updates and renovations. That's really going to get into the meat of what we're talking about and the tips for gaining a competitive edge. So as everyone has been following the interest rates, this is just a little chart to see what we've been going through over the past few years, right down at those COVID years when it was between like 2 and 3% was just crazy. And it's gone, you know, we've seen quite a spike through the years, but luckily it is coming down. And I think currently we've got interest rates, you know, hovering around 6. I think, Donna, didn't one of your buyers get an interest rate for like a little bit just below 6 recently?
Right. Yes.
Yeah. So it's going in a good direction because obviously the lower the interest rates, the more buyers are out in the market and the more activity we've got, which is just really the best thing for everybody.
So, you know, this is also showing you, again, it's just telling you the inventory is still not where we want it to be. As you can see, July 2024 inventory is really low. We're not in a balanced market. It's still a seller's market. But, you know, that does typically mean more eyes on your property. But because the interest rates, some people are waiting for the interest rates to come down, you know, that's an issue as well. So to me, I'm looking forward to a more balanced market when
Right.
we have at least what we talk about this. I think a balanced market is like 5 months of inventory, right? So this kind of plays into this chart here. All they're doing here is looking at the month of August 2024 and comparing it to the month of August 2023. So the units sold are down. The average price, though, the value of our homes are going up. And, you know, so months of inventory to the bottom right, I think that's a big one because that's showing you we only have 2 months of inventory. So again, that means we're in a seller's market. And then this chart as well is comparing Maryland's sales August 2024 to August 2023. And, you know, the median days on market have kind of, we're a couple days difference. I don't think that really makes a difference there. But if you look, the inventory again is low. You know, 7,676 homes sold in the month of August in 2023 compared to 6,641 homes sold in August 2024.
And that could be related to the fact that we're close to an election and people are just kind of sitting tight right now. So that could be one of the reasons. Okay, now we kind of get into more fun stuff here. Let's talk about first impressions and what people think when they drive up to your home. We want to talk about how important curb appeal is. Of course, this house has been beautifully prepared with the lawn mowed and, you know, freshly mulched and everything all trimmed up nicely. So it's critical that you pay attention to the front of your house as well as the inside, and we can help you with all of that.
Not a very nice first impression here, right? But
right. So of course, the importance of, you know, putting your trash cans out of sight, in addition to sprucing everything up. That's just, you know, one of the important things that you want to do when you're getting your home ready and putting your list together. So of course, you know, if you're a seller, I would be afraid that if your house looked like this, people would just drive right by and think, well, since they don't take care of the outside of their house, what is the inside going to be like? How old are the systems if they're not taking care of the outside? So the first impression is definitely going to give people an idea of how you take care of your home on the inside as well, and either give them confidence or not give them confidence to move forward.
Yeah, this was actually a renovation, but I mean, you can see, you know, I mean, the difference. I mean, just cleaning, power washing, you know, cleaning up the landscape. You know, this is very important. And again, like this was a tree in the front yard that was dead, and all they did is take it out and they reseeded and overseeded the front yard. And it just made a huge difference.
Yeah, not a lot of work to be done there, but it made a huge difference. Oh, I like the way they painted the trim, right? Didn't they paint the trim, the black here?
Yeah, this house was a
really
complete
nice.
renovation. This was, you know, an investment property. So it's a little bit different. But it really, you know, it was amazing, the transformation, both inside and out, when this was done.
That kind of leads us to deferred maintenance. So we're talking now about getting your home ready for sale. So when Donna and I first show up to your house and we talk to you about getting everything together, I think the first thing that we're going to ask you is, you know, what do you know? What do you already have knowledge of that needs to be fixed? You know, and here's some examples, maybe a ripped screen or some, you know, peeling paint or whatever the case may be. If there's something that you know of, it's always best that you take care of it beforehand rather than, you know, listing the house and hoping people don't notice or hoping that there's enough competition that people won't care, because you just never know. Also, you know, these sometimes, depending on what it is, these are things that you might have to disclose that might be in paperwork before that buyers look at before they even come to your house. And then that can also give them that same impression of, well, if they know this, why don't they just take care of it?
Yeah, I always say, you know, when I'm working with buyers, the very first thing that they want to know is, you know, how old are the major systems? For example, you know, how old is the HVAC? How old is the hot water heater? How old are the windows and the roof? And I know it's not that you have to replace these things or they have to be new, but they have to be in good working condition. And if you take care of those things up front, it's a lot less expensive than doing it after the fact. If somebody had an inspection, you know, it may be that you have to use a specific contractor to get the work done. Whereas now, ahead of time, you might be able to engage a qualified contractor who can do the work, a licensed qualified contractor, but maybe not somebody specific to doing, you know, plumbing, but that can actually do some plumbing work for you. So
yeah. So I think the point we want to make here is just that deferred maintenance is in a different category than strategic updates. And then, yeah, this just falls into, again, the repairs, the things that you've been putting off that you know, you can live with, that you can certainly live with. But when you're going to sell your home, it's just kind of, it's the same thing as if you were going to sell your car. You would make sure that everything is perfect and you know, wax everything and clean it out perfectly to attract as many buyers as possible.
yeah, you're trying to put your best foot forward. It's your property becomes a product. It's no longer really your home. You know, I mean, it is your property, but it's you're trying to make this as appealing as you can to as many people as possible. So the disclosures regarding anything that might be an issue, if you've got a leak in your plumbing, by law, you're supposed to disclose it in the state of Maryland. So you want to take care of anything that may be a problem before you list.
You're at more of an advantage if you just fix it. And a lot of these things, you know, sometimes, you know, you live in it and you can't really see it. And that's one of the things that we can help you with, is we can bring an objective eye to your property. And speaking of which, so we have many different contractors that we work with. So whatever it is that you might need, replace flooring, paint, we've got it. So we can refer to you, you know, everything from someone to do just minor repairs to people that can do entire renovations of your home. So we've got it covered.
And I want to also say, so we work a lot with seniors that might be right sizing, we say, not downsizing, but right sizing. And oftentimes the prospect of getting a home ready and trying to manage scheduling different contractors to do different things, our contractors can actually come in and make these improvements. It's one contact, one project manager, and you can defer the payment to make those improvements until you settle on the home.
Right. And again, I'm going to bring it back to, if you're going to do anything to your house, feel free to reach out to us and ask us first, because you might be doing something that you don't necessarily need to do. You might be choosing a material of paint, color, flooring, cabinetry, hardware, countertop, something that's really not the current trend. So just reach out to us. We are more than happy to help you, guide you through those selections so you can then make the most amount of money for your house as possible.
Looks like we have a question here, Karen and Donna. Pull it up here.
Great.
Says, I see several recent examples where buyers just strip everything out and totally remodel to their tastes, regardless of whether the home have gone through sprucing up in the various ways. Is this neighborhood dependent, for example?
I'm not sure I understand. Like, are they doing it for themselves or are they doing it to get the home ready for sale?
For themselves. Thank you, Mr. Smith.
Yeah, I mean, Karen, you want to take that on? I mean, I have my thoughts, but.
So did you say buyers or sellers?
Buyers. They strip everything out, totally remodel to their taste, regardless of whether the home may have gone through sprucing up in the various ways. Is this neighborhood dependent, for example?
I wouldn't say it's neighborhood dependent. I mean, I think that's a case-by-case situation where, you know, some buyers are going to buy a home, and if they like the layout of the home and the location of the home, and they don't mind redoing the insides of the home to their taste, you know, that's perfectly normal. I mean, I've seen many people do that, but other people, you know, what I like to see, or what I think sells best, is when a home is clean, maybe new paint, new flooring, decluttered, and just ready to go. Like, there's no, you know, the major systems have been fixed or repaired. And again, it doesn't mean you have to necessarily update a full kitchen or update your bathrooms, but everything should be clean and in good working condition. Would you agree with that, Karen?
Oh, completely, 100%. Like it, yeah, at the bare minimum, what we say to people regardless is, you know, fresh paint and flooring. But there's still lots of choices there that we would like to help you with, because you can still make choices, you know, that are better than others.
But did we answer the gentleman's question? Did that answer him?
I think Mr. Smith will chime in as a frequent attendee. He says yes, thank you. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, feel free to just keep.
I have one other question, kind of a personal question. Let's just say his name is Jeff S., who's asking this question. So old fences at homes, do they make a difference? And do you know a specific type of contractor that would remove an older fence that would love to be gotten out of there?
Yes, we have contractors, definitely can do that.
Yeah.
What was the first part of your question? Does a fence make a difference? What did you say? I didn't hear.
Yeah, an old fence, been around for a very long time, not necessarily looking to replace it, but possibly just remove it.
Yeah.
It's like a chain link fence, and it's got some concrete, you know, infrastructure, so it wouldn't necessarily be the easiest thing to do maybe, but I'm sure somebody could do that.
Yeah.
And we can send you, like, we can refer a contractor to come over and quote you on getting that work done.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah, I would recommend taking the chain link fence down without seeing it.
Yeah, I would too. Thank you.
Sure. All right. What's the key to having a great selling experience? The condition of your home, of course, is the foundation of your selling experience. All right. So we're going to explore that a little bit more in these next few slides. Strategic updates and renovations. This is, of course, you know, what we're talking about on a case-by-case basis, but these are just some general listings and jobs that our team has done that we want to share with you. Okay. Our little game. Which one would you purchase? This is a good one. This is a new one for Donna and I. Every once in a while, when we go through our presentations that we do often, we like to change out our pictures because it gets boring for us to talk about the same things. So this is a brand new one for us. And in this one, you can see like they have 3 different types of flooring. And all they did,
That's carpet in the dining room? Is that the dining room, Karen? I think so.
yeah, it looks like it. So yeah,
And then-
carpet, an older hardwood, and an older tile flooring. And then just changing the flooring out, that's all they did. So this is just like a luxury vinyl plank flooring. This is kind of the new thing going now. So a luxury vinyl plank, for those of you who might not be as familiar with this product, it's come a long way. It's been around for, I don't know, I think I want to say about like 15 years, but the product keeps getting better and better and better. And it's like scratch resistant and waterproof. So, you know, even if you're building a brand new home, if you go to around to the builders and you look at your different options, this is really what they're offering more than hardwood.
Yeah,
So-
it's good for, it's like scratch resistant. It's better for pets and kids and yeah.
I want to
So,
flip back and forth for you again. That's all they did is change the flooring. Amazing.
it did make a huge difference.
Right. And like Donna had said before, like what'd you say? A penny in and 2 pennies out? Is that what you said? So yeah, this is just flooring. That's all it is. So that the return on that investment is huge. And this is a good one here.
I love this one. This one is amazing.
Yeah, this picture is a little bit more zoomed in than the after picture, but on the after picture, you can at least see that this was just also a minor update. All they did is replace the vanity and the mirrors and the lighting. All of the tile, the tub, and the shower is all the same. So again, not a full renovation. That's why we wanted to show you these. Some of the pictures we do have are full renovations, but some are just partial. And that's what we're talking about, is you don't always have to do a full-blown renovation.
And you know, we like to promote and market those things that you've done, you know, that have updated the house. So like here you can say, you know, that you've updated your bathroom, right? I mean, and when you walk into this, wow, I mean, it really presents beautifully. So this is something to really market, and I think it will, like Karen said, you know, it's going to maintain its value and appeal to more people, of course, than the prior vanity that we see.
Exactly.
Right?
The dated vanity, right.
Here it would look
Let's
like
see.
somebody might walk in and a prospective buyer might walk in and say, well, now I've got to redo the bathroom because it's not updated. And look at what I, you know, look at how it presents. Whereas, you know, maybe I don't know how much this renovation cost, but you're going to get that back out on your sale.
Yeah. So sometimes just having this fresh element will do the trick. And then here's one of our examples of a full renovation. Of course, obviously a full renovation was needed here because your choice is you could buy this house or this house.
Yeah.
Which is really beautiful. And I'm going to talk a little bit later with current design trends. But one of the things I wanted to point out are these long poles. I really like these a lot.
I have a question for you. It says, clutch your pearls, but I am considering selling as is. In a very hot community, house built 1961 and systems are going, roof, pinholes in piping, need for new AC system, etc. And recently buyers are making major changes to houses, in parentheses, even after sellers put in a lot of time and money in improvements and staging. And she says, okay, talk me out of my plan.
Okay, I'm not going to talk you out of it because I think every house will sell. And if you have a great location and you feel that this is the direction you want to take, there's no reason why you can't sell that way. However, it's all about your price, how you price it. So, you know, everybody's different. And I truly believe that if you make some strategic updates to the house to get it ready, it's going to appeal to more buyers. And you'll probably, and especially in a market like this, get multiple offers that will bid it up over your list price. So you're going to maximize your asset. You're going to get more for your asset than you would if you just go as is. But there's no reason why you can't go that direction. It's just, how are you going to price it?
Yeah, so one of the things that Donna and I would do is we would take a look at your house. We would do the research and see what the other competition looks like. If they have any updates, let's say kitchens, bathrooms, let's just say that for instance. So if there was a house that was very similar to yours and there was another one that did those updates and we saw that maybe you could get $60,000 more, $80,000, $100,000 more, it's up to you. We can bring contractors in. We can have them give you quotes. They can, there's a pay at settlement option. So you don't always have to pay up front. You could pay at settlement for all the work and the materials. And it's just up to you. It's up to you completely. So, you know, our job is we like to help people make money. If that's not your goal and you just want to sell the house and whatever you get, you're happy with, it's completely your decision. We just like to help people make a lot of money.
So I also say, when I work with my prospective sellers, I like to run, you know, like Karen said, we run comparables. We want to see what's selling. Like you said, you're in a hot neighborhood. So let's take a look at what's selling there. And then we can look at the condition as well, because that's going to help you understand where you can price it to sell it as is. And I also run net sheets to show you, like I always like to start with the end in mind, because the bottom line for sellers is, in my opinion, you want to know, what are you going to walk away with at the end of the day? You know, if I sell at X number, after my taxes and after, you know, all the closing costs and everything else, commissions, whatever it might be, what am I going to take away? And so, you know, it's your asset, and it really depends on what your goals are at the end of the day. But every home will sell if it's priced right.
Right. And every home will find its price.
Yep.
And one more.
Yeah.
You may be alluding to this in a minute, Karen. What are the top improvements to make to sell the house? You said fresh paint, flooring. Do we need hardwood, luxury vinyl plank versus carpet, new appliances? Do you have a strategic checklist for those updates and renovations? Is there a limit versus sale price that one should spend?
Yes. And that comes down to us, you know, taking a look at the comps and finding out how much you could get for your house. So it's all very strategic and it's a calculation. So it's something that's going to be.
It's based on the house, right, Karen? Like each property is unique. So because a home may have a specific thing, like maybe you've got this amazing addition, you know, and you've got a beautiful pool, or you back to parkland, or whatever it might be, that, you know, maybe the kitchen updates don't need to be as, you know, maybe it's not as suggested or recommended that you have to make an update to your kitchen, because you have all these other great amenities of the home.
And also remember, we've talked about partial renovations too. So Donna and I have been in plenty of homes where it's like, okay, so you can keep the cabinetry, but maybe we paint it, or maybe we just change the hardware out. So it's just different on every single home, depending on how we can maximize the value of your home. And you could, you know, spend as little as possible to gain as much as possible. Does that help?
Yeah, I don't know if that helps. It's not an exact science either, right, Karen? I mean, it just depends. Like, it really depends. But I would say, as we talked before, there are lots of little things you can do that don't necessarily cost a ton of money. You know, we talked about paint, you know, decluttering, cleaning, fresh paint, flooring. Those things are, in my opinion, minimum, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's about making sure that your major systems are in good working condition. That to me is important. Like any deferred maintenance, you know, you've been letting it ride, but you know, we want to make sure that it's working, your HVAC system is doing its job. And I know, like Karen and I always talk about, like the switch plates and your fixtures. I mean, it's amazing what changing out a fixture can do in a home.
Right. And also your, your outlet covers, sometimes in certain houses, if they're older, you may or may not notice that they're a little dingy, a little yellowy. And then switching that out to bright white, it's super cheap, but will make a huge difference.
Yeah, the smoke detectors, I always notice that a lot of them are very like, they turn yellow quickly.
Dingy.
And now we've got, since January 2018, there's a new law, Maryland state law, regarding the smoke detectors, that they need to be encapsulated, the 10-year encapsulated smoke detector. Hardwired smoke detectors. So, there are lots of little things we talk about when we walk through a home, like we may look up at the ceiling and there's a stain, and it may have been from an old leak that you had and that was repaired, but you don't even notice it anymore. Well, a buyer walking through the home may look up and see that and say, uh-oh, maybe there's a problem here, where really there isn't one. So having eyes come in to look at the house and see what might be best to do, these are suggestions, lots of suggestions and lots of options. And then we build that into the net sheet, depending on the price, to get those things done. And that comes out so that you can see your estimated net takeaway if you sell at a certain number. Does that help?
I'm sure it does. Thank you, Karen and Donna.
Okay, sure. All right, so we just wanted to briefly talk about two of the people on our team. They both have renovation companies, and pretty much everyone on our team uses the two companies to help do all of our renovations, and they are wonderful. I mean, they definitely treat us like as VIPs. So when we have your listing, if you need work done, they come right in and get the work done quickly. They do a great job. Frame House takes the payment at settlement, so you don't need to put any money out up front. And that's just been tremendous for our team.
Yeah, because we talked about, like, some people, that just the coordination of hiring a painter, scheduling a painter, hiring flooring people, scheduling those people. If you work with, either one of these contractors, they become the project manager, and basically they can do everything. So they report to us too. So if in fact, we want to know, like, when we're going to be able to get the property on market. So we're trying to, like, set a goal for when that's going to happen. Well, they're going to help us get there. So we're holding them accountable to making sure that that timeline is met. And it's one contractor for everything. And it just makes, I think, the experience for the seller a lot less stressful. But this doesn't mean you have to use our contractors either. Like, you have options. Like, we don't own you. We don't tell you what to do. We're just bringing you as many options as we can, because I think our goal is not only to get you the very most we can for your asset, for your home, but also to make the experience less stressful, because it is a very stressful thing to buy and sell homes.
Yep, you don't do it every day. We do. All right, so I mentioned some current design trends here. So just a couple of things I wanted to talk about, and if you have any questions, let me know. We go in houses every single day. So obviously it's so hard when you're doing a renovation. You want to stay, like a little bit forward and a little bit on top of it. So, over the years, we'll talk about hardware. Over the years, hardware has been trending from, stainless steel to like a satin nickel, to black, which is still in, to like a matte gold, which is kind of like the most trendy right now. Painted cabinets are very trendy. There's certain things that, the quartz countertops, certain things that you do when you're renovating your home to enjoy. Like, one thing you might want to do, if you're going to be in your house for 5 years and you want to enjoy it, you might, on this island here, right in the middle with the blue cabinets, they did a double stack of quartz. It's a very elegant look, very upgraded and lovely. Yes, it's twice as expensive. It's 2 slabs of quartz, but it does look very beautiful. So just kind of depending on what you like to do. Oops, sorry, moving ahead. Typically, there's like a 3-color rule when you decorate. You don't want to add too many colors into a space. And as I had mentioned before, like the long cabinet poles, I do love that. So if you have any other questions, again, this is all very subjective as well, but there are just certain things that we can guide you towards if you are going to repaint or put in any new materials in your home. And then this is also another one of my favorites here. What, Donna?
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about, when some people are going to move out of their home before they sell and take everything out, right? So it's totally vacant. And then people are like, but should I leave my furniture in there? What should I do regarding staging? So we just want to talk about the different options for staging. And in this case, this was a vacant home. So Karen, go ahead and show the next slide. This is actually virtual staging, not real. It's just, we're trying to give the consumer an idea of what they can do with the space. And this is what they're going to see online. But when they walk in, it's going to be vacant.
Right. Right. But it's really nice, as we were talking about your selling experience, and when we had that little flow chart that went in like that S. And when we do this virtual staging for you, which we do complimentary, it's going to get more eyes on your listing, which is going to get more feet in your door, more offers for you, and you will end up getting more money. So this is all part of that secret sauce that we were talking about. And here's another example, which is amazing. Again, if you're flipping through pictures, this one
kills me, Karen. This one really annoys me. You know why?
I know, the cords.
That cord, I want to wrap that cord up and get rid of it.
But you know what, Donna? You notice it a lot less in the staged photo.
Exactly.
Than in this one. Right,
so
exactly.
That really leads to the next slide.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
So this is I'm really excited about this one because this was one of my listings. This is a luxury listing, and we actually, my sellers decided that they wanted to physically stage the property. So they, we brought in staging to this home, and in doing so, it's about giving the buyers and the consumers that come through an experience, right? They may want to take a seat and just sit in this room for a little while and take it all in. When you have staging in the home, it's just not as, I think it warms it up. It's not as, I don't know, cold, I guess you would say, like, it just makes the home warmer. So it's an experience that the buyer has when walking through the home, when touring. You can go to the next slide, Karen.
That's another example of the physical staging. This bedroom here.
Oops, you went too far. Go back one.
The bedroom, can you see it?
There you go, now we can see it. So this again is, physical staging. And when you do physical staging, the other thing is, I will say, some of the rooms were painted recently. There may have been little, flaws in the paint, but sometimes when you've got the physical staging in there, it takes your eye away from some of those negatives. So if there was a ding in the wall somewhere, no one may notice that because they're looking at the beautiful staging.
Yeah, and I want to draw an example back too. And I know this is virtual staging. However, I want to talk about this for a second. So in this space, the tile surround, it's pretty outdated. It's something that we might suggest to be updated. But if you look, if there were staging, let's say this is not virtual, but they actually had furniture, it does take your eye off of some of those outdated elements, which is why when someone was asking a question about, is there a checklist? It's just different for every house. But that's just an example, depending on what your house is. And if you have furniture in your house, and if you have other features that are drawing your attention to it, then maybe you don't have to update everything. So that's just what I wanted to say about it being very individual.
Did we talk, so here's the other option for staging, because this is where Karen can come in too. If you have furniture and you're not going to remove it from the home to get ready to sell, there may be strategic pieces that you can keep where Karen, can maybe suggest, maybe you move the couch from one side of the room to the other side of the room, or, you place the TV here versus here. So we can also use your furniture to stage. But so there are really three options.
Yes.
Using your furniture to stage, vacating the house and using virtual staging, which will show your home and how the rooms can be used online to consumers shopping online, and then physical staging where you can actually bring staging in. The
rental furniture.
Prior ones, like having our stagers come in to look at the home and move your furniture around, that's included in our marketing. Same thing with virtual staging, that's included in our marketing, but physical staging would be additional, bringing furniture in.
Yeah. All right, now we're going to be talking about professional photography here. So of course, that's part of our secret sauce too. We don't leave it up to us agents to take pictures on our iPhone and throw that in your listing. We make sure everything is staged and everything's clean and professionally photographed, like this bottom picture here. So again, it helps in getting the more feet through your door.
It makes a difference. That presentation, look at that. I mean, just the lighting in that first photo. Oh my goodness.
Right.
Compared to the second. I mean, I know it's a different angle, but the lighting is very, we're trying to highlight each room in your home is a picture, and that's what you're selling. You're selling these rooms and you're selling your home and all its great features.
Right.
So you need the best photography.
Yeah, I mean, as far as a checklist, for like preparing your home before people walk through, I mean, always like doors open, shades and blinds up. Sometimes we recommend taking them off the windows completely, just to let the most amount of light in. So the way you live in your home and the way we stage it in order to sell it, can be a little bit different, but we can walk you through that whole process. Oh, and now we're going to talk about strategic pricing.
Yes. I mean, this is such an interesting home because there's not a lot of dome homes in Howard County. This was one of them. And it's all about, how do you price this when there's nothing to really compare it to, because it's a unique property. So I think that's where we were going with this, right, Karen? Like we wanted to highlight the home for that reason, because a lot of people will go on Zillow and get a Zestimate, or go, they'll try to go online and see what the consumer websites say their home is worth. Well, we know that this home, we had to do this strategically, price this home because it is so unique.
Yeah, this house, it's a 2-bedroom house with 2 bathrooms. It has that saltwater heated pool. It's on close to 2 acres with geothermal heating. And the sellers put $200,000 into upgrades into this house. So there's really nothing like it. So it definitely took some effort to figure out how to price it right. Because as we all know, if you price your house too high, it's just going to sit on the market, which is the worst thing that you can do, because the longer it sits on the market, it does devalue. It loses its competitive edge, and you just want to make sure you get it right from the start.
Yeah, it's very important to know how to price your home right from the beginning, because when a home sits oftentimes then consumers will say, well, you know, what's wrong with this house? Why isn't
Right.
it selling? You know, especially in the market that we're in. And then people will come in and say they may lowball. You know, they might say, well, you know, maybe the seller's anxious now and really wants to get this home sold. So we'll just put an offer out there. And it might not be the offer that you want.
Yeah, we're trying to help you avoid all of those bad experiences. And then Donna, you want to talk about this home, your fun run home?
Sure. So this I just sold this year. This was a luxury home, also a unique property because it sits on 13 acres of land that backs to the Patuxent. So, you know, it's
Not a typical listing.
Not a typical listing, right? Not everybody wants that much land. Not everybody wants this type of home. But we did some very strategic updates. You know, I can say that there was some deferred maintenance that needed to be addressed, like the garage doors were, I think they were kind of rotting out. And so we, you know, they had to replace those doors. And we did some flooring here. And they did some really nice updates in the house prior to, you know, selling, but there were a couple of other things that we did just to maximize the home to get it ready to sell. I mean, this is, you know, this ended up selling for 1.3. We listed it at 1.2. So it really did well, and it sold, I think in 6 days, we had this property sold. It also had something that some people might say was a treacherous driveway. I called it coming around the mountain as she comes. The driveway, yeah, you go up a hill and then down a hill and around to get to the house. So, you know, again, it wasn't for everyone, but it was just beautiful. You know, if it was this type of home, something you wanted, like it's like living in a tree house to me with lots of privacy.
Beautiful. Oh, and this house too, that last home house that we showed you, that was listed at 575, and that one closed at 625. So that one did very well also, with multiple offers and also in 6 days.
Yep.
All right, more questions. What you got for us?
All right. Wow, great information. Let's see, first question, how has recent real estate commission changes played out in the market for buyers and for sellers?
You want me to talk about it, Karen?
Go for it.
Okay.
A different opinion.
So I would ask what you've heard first. I mean, that's just my thinking is, what have you heard about it? What do you know?
There's a lot of misinformation in the market out there, a lot. So it's a critical question to ask is, what have you heard?
While we wait for that, maybe we'll jump on to the next one here. And now certainly be a great time to get your final questions in for Karen and Donna. Our next question is, in my area, folks seem to be just tearing down existing homes and building much larger homes. Is it worth improving prior to listing this type of home?
Ooh, great question. That's definitely something that we would want to look into. That's a fantastic question. Because if that is a trend, and if that's what people are doing, we definitely want to take a look at that, all that information as a whole, on what those houses look like, the condition of those houses when they sold, and what they sold for. So that's a case-by-case question, but that is an excellent question, because it definitely is a possibility that it might not be worth it at all to put any money into that.
That may be an as-is, a sale.
Right.
You know, that may be better sold as is.
Right.
Sometimes people don't want to, you know, bother with, you know, doing anything with the home. And we get people where there may be an estate sale where, you know, they just don't have like the mind and the wherewithal, and it's too stressful. And, you know, they just want to sell it and just be done. You know, there's lots of options. So it's always a case by case.
as it relates to the question about real estate commissions, our attendee says he's heard all over the landscape is basically what he says. And then in follow-up to that, another attendee, hi there, Mr. Bosch, says, is 3% a reasonable listing commission? So dive into that if you'd like to.
So there is no standard commission. Let me just put it that way. Commissions have always been negotiable, always. I think transparency is where it's all at. The seller understanding the value, in my opinion, of offering a buyer broker commission, I think is very important because it's a marketing tool and it's an incentive to the buyer. If you stop and think about it, I mean, I don't want to say typically this is the way it's been because there's no typical, right? We've always negotiated commissions. So there is no standard, but when a seller offers a commission to the buyer's broker, it gives them, I think, more feet through the door. Because if you're a buyer in today's market and the buyer has to come out of pocket to pay their agent, their buyer's agent, a commission directly, they have to do that on top of whatever they're saving for their down payment. They have to do that, come out of pocket with that on top of their moving costs and their closing costs. If the seller offers it and builds it into their list price, the buyer is really paying that anyway. The only difference is now the lender can actually lend on, put that into the loan. Does that help? Does that make sense?
So, and just to clarify, so to answer what has changed is the seller is not allowed to advertise the buyer's agent's commission. That is what has changed. So it's created more work for us, right, in the MLS, where the agents work. Mm-hmm.
They can still advertise it, but not in the multiple listing service.
Where we all work.
Where we all work.
So the change has created more work for us to figure out, and we have to contact each seller through the listing agent to find out if they're paying buyer's agent commission. So do not ask me why they have determined that on the lawsuit, why that's what happened, but that is what has changed.
Okay.
Does that help?
I'm sure it does, unless I hear otherwise here. Information right from the sources, everybody. So any last questions, get those into me right now. As always, I send out an email at the conclusion here with today's recording. If you want to review it again, send the slides out again. Also, Donna and Karen's contact information, and also some other good information that would be helpful to you. Moving forward, Donna and Karen, first, love to have you back in the spring. If you'll accept our invitation.
We would love to.
Sounds great. So we'll put it on the calendar. As for our upcoming presentations, tonight we're going to be talking about estate planning and elder law essentials with Steve Elville. That's at 7 o'clock this evening. So if you're looking for an evening presentation, which we don't have that often, jump one in there and learn from the best, Steve Elville. Also, our 2024 annual client and community education event is coming up quickly, November 9th, which is a Saturday at 10 Oaks Ballroom. I lead the committee to get everything up and running, and we've been working for many months on it, and we're looking forward to it. Our theme this year is modern elder law and what families need to know. So I'll send out some information about that. If you're on this presentation, I'm sure you've probably seen it already, but another time won't hurt. We don't have too many things going on in October because we're very busy getting ready for our event. But going to, aside from tonight, going into November, on November 13th, understanding the uses and purposes of irrevocable trusts. That's also offered by Steve Elville. And on the 17th, a rescheduled presentation, guardianship. What is it? When is it appropriate? And what are some alternatives? And then lastly, For right now, in December, on December 4th, our great friend Kelly Nelson, who's the Outreach and Communications Manager for Maryland ABLE, will be back for her yearly presentation about ABLE accounts, which is a financial tool to promote health, independence, and financial stability. So always look forward to having Kelly, just as we've had Karen and Donna here as our guest presenters. So really appreciate your time today. Great information. And please reach out to Donna and Karen. They can be a help to you and a resource. So we look forward to seeing you soon on the Elville webinar series, and I hope you have a great rest of the week. Take care, everybody.
Thank you so much for having us.
Our pleasure. Thanks to you both.